Hi, this is Brent with Sample Tools by CR2. In this video, I'm going to show you how to create a 127 house drum beat using 909 samples. Now, I'm going to use the 909 core kit that comes with Ableton Live because this is what most people will have available to them, and the samples and the sounds here are really the best and cleanest samples that we can work with from the get-go. And we can all do this inside of one MIDI region because they are grouped into a drum rack, and then we can take control of them later on for gain staging and mixing within individual channels. So we're going to make the groove sound like it was recorded in the 90s. And I'm sure you can imagine what this drum beat's like if you've listened to a lot of house music from the 90s, but this is really straightforward drum groove, but it's quite important to get this down for creating this style of house music. So I'm going to drop the 909 core kit into my MIDI channel here, and as you can see, the beauty of the 909 core kit is we have the drum rack loaded up, but not only this, each individual drum rack gets its own level control, and we also have stuff like tune and also some transient controls for individual elements, which is really nice. We can tune the bass drum to the actual key of our track, so it's a nice way to consolidate a lot of the programming into one MIDI region, which we can then expand out and we can take advantage of for mixing purposes. So I'm going to create a new track here. And the rule for basically a house drum beat for this sort of groove would be a 4 to the floor for the bass drum. And if you turn on this headphone icon here, we can preview samples before we lay them down. So I'm going for a really simple 4 to the floor here. And then the next thing would be the hand clap on the 2 and the 4. And then we want to have our open hi-hat on the offbeats. Okay, now what I want to do is right click, and I'm going to keep it on the 16th note divisions for the grid. I'm going to select triplet grid, and this is because I want to have a little bit more swing in the groove, and I want to have closed hi-hats just before and after some of the open hi-hats. So for example here, and I might try another one here at the end of this open hi-hat for some variation. Let's have a listen to how this sounds. So it gives it a tighter swing. We could even put some rim shots in. Maybe to vary the closed hi-hats, the rim shots go here. And now what we could do is we could select the open hi-hats. I'm going to fold the tracks now. We could select these tracks here, and I could change the velocities of these tracks against the closed hi-hats. And we'll keep the bass drum all on the same velocity so it's better for our mixing later on. Okay, let's hear this now. Okay, so now that we have our groove laid down, we can now go into the core kit, and without actually having to do any processing ourselves, we have these preset macro variations. So we can click on one of these, and it'll give us some macro variations, and then we can maybe dial these into taste depending on your track that you're working with. And like I said, you could tune your bass drum to the track. Or you could create your own macro variation and save it as a preset. If these aren't for you and you want more control, we could open up the individual tracks here and take our own control on each individual channel, which is really cool. So for example, let's grab one of the saturators from Ableton here, as we don't have that on the rack here. Let's go for soft sine for a slightly sharper curve. Back the output off. And engage soft clipping. So the soft clipping is a really good way to increase the perceived loudness, but we actually attenuate the levels. So we're picking at -7.7. Gives us a slightly longer decay as well. And let's select the frequency. So it's about 100 Hertz and lower, which is where the frequency of the kick is most likely going to be occupying. And let's hear this all in context now. So this took us the best part of 5 minutes.